you've led a very successful career already, and you just continued a meteoric rise. What would you say was, you say it was, I have this passion, I want to make the jump. You have the beginning stages where you were reviewing like a SmackDown set, like a toy collection set.
Oh my god, you saw that! Oh my god, that makes me want to private my old videos. That's like, okay, fun fact. So the SmackDown Elite Scale Wrestling Arena unboxing, right? It was not the first video on the channel, but I feel like it was the second video that I ever filmed for YouTube, and it's terrible. It's the worst.
but you're able to see how far you've come from that. Yeah, I mean, that's a big deal.
That's a good thing, yes.
Yeah, when you climb a mountain, you got to start somewhere, and then when you're where you're at, you're able to look down and see, oh man, you see the progress,
It's one of the things with journaling. Whenever you're like, oh, I feel like I'm getting nothing done, like you can go back to, oh wow, you know what? I've made significant progress.
Oh yeah. Funny that you mentioned that, because like now I do mostly interviews, right? So like if you look at my channel, it's mostly interviews. But back in the day when I just started, it was mostly wrestling figure videos. Like I haven't thought about them in a while, but now that you bring it up, it's all like rushing back.
Yeah. And so and it's a wonderful start, because that's something that you've got the passion for. And so you went from the professional world of the education and the corporate grind and all this other stuff, and then you make the jump to the social media working and putting yourself out there for a passion job. What would you say was the catalyst for that? What made you take the chance on yourself? Because it's obviously paid off, and you're really putting in the work for it, and you're really, really doing it very awesomely. It's really to your own credit. What would you say was that jumping off?
You're really making me like introspect here. I'm like, wow, what is going on? Honestly, I don't think I have a clear answer. I think it was more of like a coming of age thing, because I started the channel 4 years ago, so I was 22. It's almost like you're coming out of this like youthful, careless stage in your life when you're like, oh, I wonder what I'm going to be when I grow up. And you stop and think, and you're like, I am growing up. And do I want to be exactly this as I'm growing up? Or do I want to change something? Or do I want to actually pursue something that I love and something that I'm actually passionate about? I'm not saying I didn't love my journalist PR jobs. Like it was a great experience, and I worked with art. I worked at art fairs. I worked at fintech conferences. I worked, as I said, for a news channel. It was great fun, but ultimately I just realized at one point that I love wrestling so much. I always say that wrestling is the love of my life. I've never loved anyone or anything as much as I love wrestling, and it would just be a shame to not give it a shot.
Yeah, and it's not like you haven't used those professional skills on the channel yourself. You mentioned in a video your first time anchoring was at Ringside Fest.
Yeah.
And can you speak to what that was like, being able to bring skills from your professional life into a professional presentation of your social media and your YouTube career?
That was a great experience because, as you guys know, because you scrolled back on my channel, I am actually very passionate about wrestling figures. Yeah. I still am. I keep asking people, like, do you guys want to see more wrestling figure videos? And it feels like people don't really, but I still do. Yes. It was great. It was a change for sure, because all of a sudden you're in such a different environment. Like, it's a different language, even though I do speak it, obviously. It's a different, it's a different viewer that you're addressing. But also, because I had experience, I almost like snap into it when the camera is on. So it wasn't like a brave new world. It wasn't that nerve-wracking in that sense. Like, again, not to brag, but I know what I'm doing, so I'm going to do it. And like, literally when we were recording this one segment for their vlog. Literally, Undisputed Era were like right behind me. I was like,
no
that's
pressure.
Do it well.
So if you mess up something, Bobby Fish is just gonna like not let it go.
Not Bobby Fish. It's so funny though. Like again, you just keep like hitting like such specific points about my online presence, because I did mention on Twitter quite recently that when I was younger, like before I started doing this, Bobby Fish was one of my like wrestling crushes. So yeah, definitely no pressure.